what is slime
He's
bag?
been all over South Asia.
All over. Yeah.
He knows all about how he's heard every story in the book.
Yeah.
We're like, maybe you need to not be going to these places, Bill.
Right. So,
Gross.
yeah.
And he was like, all the guys had guns. And you're like, who are you impressing? He just felt very proud of himself telling this story. But if this story is true, he sucks even worse. If the story, it sucks that I don't believe him either. I watched this, and for the first time I didn't believe Bill. Yeah. He was telling the story and I was like, whatever, I don't believe him for a second. Yeah. And usually I'm gullible and I will believe everyone as they're telling it. Bill, I was like, fuck off, Bill. And if what Bill was saying is true, and this did happen, and he did see her, he's a piece of shit.
Listener discretion advised. Adult language and mature content.
True crime story time.
That is the new opener for Keeley has a special episode, which I think we like this setup of all a true crime story time with Keeley, and then we'll talk about our reality TV all together. We don't know. We do it how we feel like. However that week feels. And this week it feels like a true crime story time kind of week.
Yeah, I think so.
You picked a really great one. There's a new Netflix documentary called Amy Bradley. Then there was more of the title and I forgot it.
Amy Bradley is missing.
Amy Bradley is
Yeah, it's better.
I did write that down.
You did, but there was another cruise documentary called The Poop Cruise. Did you watch that one?
I did not watch The Poop Cruise.
Well, you should watch The Poop Cruise. Everybody, it's really good too. That was a horrific, just little hour ditty on Netflix about just a Royal Caribbean where their sewer went sideways and they could not use their bathroom and all the electricity went out, and the cruise director and all the employees said, everybody start to poop and pee in your showers. And it was horrific for everyone. The smell and the urine and the feces everywhere for, I think it was like 7 or 10 days.
Oh, that's awful.
Was backed up. You should watch it. You watch it, Jen. You'll love it. It's called The Poop
I just gotta
Cruise.
make sure I eat first. That's so gross.
Yes, it was
you know
terrible.
the smell, like the smell of that? I have 6 cats.
She admitted it, everybody.
I know, I'm not supposed to talk about it. I have 6 cats, and one of my proudest life achievements is that you will walk into my house and you'll have no idea.
Yeah.
Like, you don't know that I have 6 cats unless they come to say hello to you. And actually, 4 of the 6 would come say hello to you. That's another thing I'm proud of.
At the same time?
No, because that's the girls, and the girls are bitches, and they don't all like being around each other. Okay. But, like, we went to an estate sale over the weekend, and I walked in the house, and I was like, they have cats. They had cats. The person had cats. Shit. And it's like, but it's this weird, like, I'm in a dead person's house. They had pets. They are gone now. But I know that my house doesn't smell like this, so woohoo. Yeah. Like, I can notice the difference, so I feel good about that. Do you ever... But then the rest of the day, I'm like, I still smell it. It's, like, in my nose. When you go on the poop cruise, do you smell the poop forever? Ooh, like, how long does that poop smell stay in you?
God,
in your hair?
They had to be rescued, off the poop cruise.
Probably have to like, shave your head.
Oh, God. 100%.
Throw away all your vacation clothes?
Horrible. So bad. These poor people. Yeah.
Have you been on a cruise? You have not.
I have not ever been on a cruise. And watching the documentary Poop Cruise and this documentary Amy Bradley is Missing, I probably will not go on a cruise.
I don't think I'm ever going to go. I've gone on one cruise. my mom canceled Christmas one year and we went on a cruise instead.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't remember much of it because I became physically dependent on Dramamine because I was so seasick. Like, I got so sick that I just had to take it every 8 hours or else I would be nauseous. But then also it makes you tired, so I just slept. I slept the entire cruise. Cruising's not going to be for me.
Mm-hmm.
My body can't handle cruising or drugs, is what...
The lady that cuts and colors my hair goes on cruises regularly and just talks it up all the time. She loves it and really wants me to try it and does them on the regular with her family and has nothing but wonderful things to say about. Although she does say that she at time can feel the boat, which that would be me. So I don't know. I just don't think I can go on one.
I don't think I don't. Yeah, especially after these documentaries.
No.
I'm probably not going to do that. Just go to a resort. Just go to a hotel.
Yes, I'm good with it. I am even happy to go to the La Quinta down the street rather than go on a cruise.
Well, I don't want to go in a pool either. Like, I'll go in your pool at your house, but I'm not going to go in a public pool anymore either.
Oh,
or a hot tub. That's like the amoebas that are living in that. I'm not going to touch it. All right. So tell us about why we shouldn't go on cruises anymore.
Okay. Amy Bradley is Missing Everybody. It's on Netflix. There are 3 episodes. And, oh my goodness. Episode 1.
For a 3-parter, it was quick.
It really was.
It wasn't one of these that you like have to take in multiple parts. I binged. Well, I did it in 2 sittings.
Yeah.
It was
no,
good.
you could absolutely do that. So it starts out, we're watching VHS tapes of this beautiful family. And can I just say, just for a minute, thinking about this, if I ever, just for a moment, I have to stop. If I ever disappear, Dateline or Forensic Files or even, KTVB here in Idaho will never, ever have VHS tapes of me because there are none. There are none. Sadly, you would probably not even have pictures to create a slideshow of me. I'm not trying to make light of this poor woman being missing, but every time we watch like a Dateline or a Forensic Files, they always have these VHS home videos of these people and their family and these beautiful, home videos of this family. And we get to see these little snippets and they're just wonderful pictures and
these
family
events and great speeches they're giving to each other.
Right. She's a little girl, she's 1 or 2 running around in a diaper, or, she's at one of her basketball games or in the house, with all of her friends, talking to her mom or something. I have none of that. None of that exists of me anywhere. If I go missing or if Steve kills me, nothing. There's nothing. Forensic Files has nothing to show.
You have to pre-plan your binder. The lady on Facebook, she was like, this is the 2020, this is the Dateline binder. This is all of the best pictures of me. If you're going to show a picture of me, I want this picture over and over and over again. Or from these. I have them starred on my Instagram. And these are the culprits who may be. Here's who I have a beef with. Look after these people.
This is exactly what I'm going to have to do because I have no VHS tapes of
Do you know
anything.
what they're going to have? They're going to have this podcast. They're going to have this.
True.
Yeah.
That's
It's
true.
going to be for you.
That's true.
Because I'm also the one that does all the filming. Now everything is on a phone. Like my kids, their babyhood, childhood is on my phone.
Yeah.
But I'm the one taking all of the videos.
Yeah.
So there's very few. All of the pictures that they're going to have of me are going to be me with that I took of myself. And I'm a millennial, so it's going to be slightly higher.
Right. Oh my God. No, I'm not trying to make light of it, but I literally was thinking about that watching.
It was a lot of
footage of this beautiful family. And she is so cute. Amy is just beautiful, and the mother is talking. So we meet the family, the mom, Iva, the dad, Ron, and the brother, Brad. And they're just talking. And the mother is talking about Amy. And I'm going to tell you, everybody, I had just a visceral reaction watching this mother cry and sob, talking about her daughter, Amy. She obviously misses her so much. And I would too. I mean, if my daughter went missing for 30 years, I absolutely would not be able to contain myself either. But it is so heartbreaking to watch her talk about her heartache and the loss of her daughter. So this happened in 1998, that her daughter went missing.
Did you know about this story before?
I did not. But when they show the People magazine cover from, what was it, 2001? I can't remember.
Yeah, I think so.
I did remember seeing that magazine.
Okay.
When they had Chandra Levy on there and Amy. I did remember seeing that magazine. But I don't remember the specific story. So, yeah, the mom is talking, and she is just so sweet. They are from Chesterfield, Virginia. And the mom says, I'm 71, 72 years old right now, and Amy went missing when I was 45.
Yeah.
And I think everybody, when you're watching this, lets out this audible sigh, right? Going, oh my gosh, that is so long when you think about it. We meet Erin, who is a family friend. She was one of Amy's friends. She was dating Brad, Amy's brother at the time. And Brad, at the time of the cruise, was 21 and Amy was 23. And it was a family trip that they were going on. Amy was just starting, I guess they called it her big girl life. So she got a brand new bulldog puppy, and she got a brand new apartment.
By the way, biggest regret of my life. If you are in your early 20s, don't get a dog.
Really?
You have other things to do. You have other things you're not going to be able to. You can't travel. You have a harder time getting an apartment.
Oh, God.
It's going to really narrow down the people that you can date. Just don't get a pet that early. And if you are going to get a pet, get a cat. Because then eventually the cat is mostly self-sufficient.
This is coming from a woman who has 6.
Because they're great.
Cats.
My biggest regret, and I've loved my dogs, my biggest regret is getting dogs when I was 21.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have done it. Anyway, sorry.
So we hear Erin says she's going to go to the house, watch their dogs, watch their birds while they go on the cruise. And she just remembers Amy was really happy to go on this cruise. They went bathing suit shopping, and she remembers them driving away in the driveway and going on the cruise. And that was the last time she saw everybody. She starts to cry thinking about it. And you're just immediately just so sad watching this show, going, oh my God, what have I got myself into watching this show? And can I stop again and ask you one thing?
Mm-hmm.
Did you, when you're watching the show and they're showing pictures of Amy, either right in high school or when she went missing on the cruise, did you think of anything in particular about her right off the bat?
I thought that she looked incredibly sporty. There were some things that, like, looking at her, I assumed about her that I found out later were correct.
Okay, me too.
Okay.
All right. Just
same page.
All right, same page. Also, did you know, and you probably didn't since you binged it yesterday and today, there is a second documentary on Hulu for this series. That's only 42 minutes long. And it's under the Disappeared ID series.
Okay.
So if you go to Hulu and you type in the search bar Disappeared and it comes up ID, right? The ID channel. Mm-hmm. And you go to season 9, episode 3. It's called Troubled Waters. It is the same story, but it's only 42 minutes long.
Does it have... Okay, so what... You got me hooked on this one. Before I watched it, you were like, there's so many conspiracy theories about this. Does it have anything different than the Netflix one? Oh, okay.
It does.
All right, so you have to tell us about that at the end.
Yes, I did. Okay. I wrote them down. So just everybody, if you're interested, you can watch both documentaries, and I will tell you the 3 differences that I noticed in the 2. So, yes. So we go to day 1 of the cruise. So this is a Caribbean cruise. They are going to Puerto Rico, Aruba, Barbados, Curacao. I can't remember the other.
St. Martin and St.
Martin. That's right. So they meet the cruise director, Gopher, for all of you love boat people out there. Anyway, his name is Kurt Detweiler. So the first day of the cruise is March 1st, 1998. And he says, look, I'm basically the face of the ship. I greet all the people. And, he goes out on the dance floor and he dances with all the old ladies. And, he basically makes everybody feel kind of welcome. And, which
he brings the energy.
Right.
He's like, good vibes.
Right.
We're going to dance.
Yep.
I'm going to hit on you a little.
Oh,
kind of.
Right.
That's kind of the vibe I got.
Yeah, which is fine. A lot of reviews I read, people did not like this gentleman from this documentary, which is facts. Well, I can get behind that.
He doesn't work for the cruise line anymore, but I think he represents what people interpret as the demeanor and the response from the cruise line after all this. Yeah. Sure,
which is fine. This was a 7-day cruise. It was only just a week. And again, I personally, if I am going to go on a cruise, I think I would do a little bit longer. This is quite a ways away to go to, I don't know, to be sick for that long. In my mind,
sick, but I can't.
You're being sick that long. And I have to be honest, I had no idea where like St. Martin and St. Thomas and Curacao was in reference to the world. I had to look it up. It's near Venezuela, everybody. So
the islands kind of do that curve.
Yes. So Ron, Amy's dad, he and Iva are in the insurance biz. They are insurance agents, and their office were having, I guess, contests. They have contests every year. And that year, they were rewarded with this cruise. So that's how they got this cruise. That's how they were able to do this cruise, is they got it through their work.
Yeah.
And they found out that they were able to not only have the 2 of them go on the cruise, but they were able to have 2 more tickets to the cruise. So that's how their 2 kids were able to go on the cruise, Amy and Brad. So they're 2 adult kids.
Yeah. I think a testament to the family that, like, we're going to be on a 7-day cruise together. We're all sharing one room. It was the room I thought looked like a good room because there was even a little sitting area and they had a balcony. And I've looked up cruises thinking maybe we would go. And, like, getting a balcony is, like, a good, I think that's supposed to be, that's like a fancy
I think that's
room.
A good kind of
and a sitting
room.
Area, that's like a good room because they're on a boat. It's tiny. Mm-hmm. And so if they're 21 and 23-year-old kids are like, we want to go on a cruise with you and be in close quarters and, like, go out and do that. I mean, I think that's a testament to, like, what a close family they were.
Yeah.
Because I hope that our boys would want to do that with us one day, but I don't know that I would have chosen that for myself if that was offered at that age, right?
Your kids are not going to want to do that with you. I'm sorry to break that to you.
They barely want to be in the same room with me now.
Yeah.
Ugh.
So anyway, yes.
But they did. These kids did.
Yes.
That was how close their family was.
Yeah, they did. They did go on the cruise. They did just share this one giant room with them. Mm-hmm. And so, like I said, they bought a bunch of rolls of film. Yes, everybody, they had cameras, not phones. Back there, they had to buy rolls of film. So they bought rolls of film. They bought postcards to send back to everybody. And they just went. So they went, Puerto Rico was the first day. So day 3, they went to Aruba. And everybody had a good time on Aruba. They got off the ship. Everybody got a sunburn. They got back on the ship, and that night is when they had their formal dinner. So apparently on a cruise, there are dinners where you have to get dressed up in like tuxedos for the men and I guess formal type gowns for the women.
I love that idea.
Yeah.
I want to do that. Just not on a boat because I'll throw up.
Oh my God, right? Yeah.
Right.
So I think that's beautiful. So then there are photographers that can take your picture and so you can remember that moment. And a photographer remarked to Amy, I could take a picture of you and your boyfriend. And she laughed and said, no, it's my baby brother. And so now the family is remarking about the wait staff at this formal dinner, showing Amy quite a lot of attention. Mm-hmm. And as I'm watching the show, I'm thinking, well, that's kind of strange. And not kind of strange in the way that, well, why is the wait staff showing her a lot of attention? Mm-hmm. And I'm thinking it's strange in the way that I feel like the family is almost forcing the idea that the wait staff is showing attention to Amy. Do you see the difference in what I'm saying?
When someone makes a comment that could be taken that way, and then they just lean real hard into it, and then it becomes a family joke. Yes. But possibly for other reasons, and I see where you're going.
Yeah, so watching the show, or watching the documentary, the family was constantly making comments and saying the waitstaff was showing Amy a lot of attention. And they, like you said, they would make jokes. If anybody needed anything, just have Amy ask for it because it'll get done immediately. Mm-hmm. And here's my thing. On a cruise, like that cruise director said, I think it's their job to pay attention to you, like the band to pay attention to you, the cruise director to pay attention to you, like the photographer to pay attention to you. I think these people on these cruises, I think it's their job to do those things. Right. We'll get into a little bit more with specific people that are employees later, but that is
I think you're supposed to feel special. And granted, there's 2,400 people on this boat. Yeah. But you are going to keep coming back. The people that become cruise people, like your hairdresser, those people go over and over and over again. And and it's the same reason I go to Dutch Brothers is I want a young girl to kind of hit on me because she says my nails are cute. Like, I want that attention when I'm ordering coffee. Yeah. And I think that totally that's like, that. No. I get it. I think that's what they should be doing.
Yeah, I completely get that. But like I said, the family in this documentary keeps pushing the fact that this wait staff and other employees on the boat are showing Amy a lot of attention that is more attention than anyone else on this ship. Mm-hmm. And so as a viewer, you're watching it going, this is kind of strange. Right. So then after the dinner, they say at 10 o'clock, then there's a party on the pool deck. So they all change out of their formal gowns and tuxedos, and they go to this party at the pool deck. And they all go dancing, and then Brad, the brother, wins this limbo contest.
He's still proud of that.
Very proud of that. Mm-hmm. And so after a little while, Mom and Dad, Iva and Ron, they say, we're tired, we're going to go to bed. And they leave Amy and Brad still dancing at the pool party and having fun. So they go back to their shared cabin and go to bed. So after the pool party is over, Brad and Amy are still wanting to party, and they decide to go to the disco and go dancing at a club, right? Just like a club downtown, wherever you guys live, they have this disco, a club on the boat. So they decide to go to this club and go dancing. And Brad again says, Amy is being showed a lot of attention by other employees of the ship, like one band member in particularly. So, Amy's dancing on the dance floor. He says he motions to Amy, he's going to go out on the upper level of the boat. She's in the disco club area dancing. They see each other, and he motions to her. He's going to go out to a different level of the boat, and she says fine. So they see each other. So she's one area, he's a different area. They're completely fine. And then after the disco closes, they find each other, and they go back to the room at about 3:30 in the morning. So they're together now. They go back to their shared cabin at 3:30 in the morning, and they go out onto the balcony, like you said, of their cabin. So Ron and Iva, Mom and Dad, are asleep in the room. And here's some other things. They have to walk through the room to get to the balcony. And for whatever reason, they don't wake Mom and Dad up. I don't know. I think about these stupid little things when I'm watching the show. You would walk past me, I would wake up. I'm just saying I would wake up.
I think they're a drinking family.
Okay. All right.
And that's kind of the vibe that I got. Because they were like, she only had 7 beers. And I was like, 7 beers?
I know. But it was like...
She wasn't... She's a petite thing. Not teeny, tiny, but like...
But it was like 7 beers from starting at 6 o'clock at night, though, till 3 a.m.
Yeah, it's still...
So that's a lot still. Yeah. Anyway, so they have to walk through Mom and Dad to get on the balcony. They're sitting on the balcony at 3:30, 3:40 a.m. And Brad's story is, Amy says somebody was making a physical pass at her while she was at the club. And he says they're both kind of tipsy from the alcohol while they're out there. And she's telling Brad this story. And Brad says, I'm getting kind of tired. I'm going to go in and go to sleep. And she says, I'm feeling kind of queasy. I'm going to stay out here for a little while with the air. And he says, okay, I love you. Good night. So he goes back in the cabin, goes to sleep, and she stays out on the cabin, or out on the balcony.
Yeah.
So then the story is their dad, Ron, wakes up at 5:30 in the morning. He looks around the room, sees Brad in bed, looks out on the balcony and sees Amy's legs, sees her sitting out on the balcony, says to himself, okay, everybody's here and safe. I'm going to go back to sleep. Mm-hmm. He says he wakes up again around 5 or 10 till 6 a.m. and Amy is not there on the balcony any longer.
Mm-hmm.
And looks around the room, and he says the balcony door is open just a little bit, which wasn't open before. And now her shirt that she was wearing is inside the cabin, and the balcony door is now open. So he thinks, okay, well, she's changed her clothes, and maybe she's gone, left the room and got some coffee or some breakfast or something. So he gets up to leave to go look for her. Okay, I just want to pause for a moment. The girl is 23 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Why is the dad in such a panic for a 23-year-old woman? Why? I don't
understand. What is it that set off his alarm bells?
Yes, I don't understand this. I get that, he's worried about his daughter. You totally get that emotion. I am worried about my child and my grandchildren 24/7. I would not be in such a panic that he describes this panic like he just like his arm is cut off. He's just in this state of panic. I don't understand what he's talking about. This is a grown woman. He's a grown adult woman. He's taking her on a cruise. They're sharing a cabin together. They've had a night of drinking. Literally, all four of them are drunk.
Mm-hmm.
He wakes up and she's gone. The level of control that I don't understand in this family. Can we just talk about this for a minute? What are your thoughts? This is what I'm thinking of when I'm watching the show.
I mean, it's one of those things where it's, and maybe it's coming from, it's very different than maybe how I grew up. I'm not going to make assumptions about how you grew up. But yeah, the 1,000 home movies, and they were involved in she was in every single sport. She was in travel basketball, and they have all these big family events, and it seems just really happy and wonderful and supportive. And the friend Aaron was like, oh my God, I would have loved to be in a family like that.
Yeah.
But there is, when he goes, oh, I'm going to go look for her, and maybe she went to get a coffee. But then the second that he can't find her, and these ships are huge.
Yeah.
These ships are so big. The fact that he doesn't find her right away.
Yeah.
And goes, something's wrong.
Yeah.
This is bad. I go, it's always, it's the husband, or in this case, you're like, is it the dad? And so that was my first assumption. But then the other side of it is like, maybe this is just, it's that sixth sense that you have as a parent. Maybe that's what this is. But the more we find out, I think it can be colored different ways. I don't know.
So the other thing I thought of was, if she had left the room, okay, and I asked Steve this too. So there's balcony door and their cabin door. If she had left the room, don't you think there would have been like an air pressure kind of door slam or feel that somebody would have heard or opened? Like that cabin door would have slammed shut, or you would have felt that air, right?
Well, she left the balcony door open. It had been shut, and then suddenly it's open. I don't know. Maybe.
Okay. All right. That was one of my red flags, right? Him waking up out of nowhere, 20 minutes, he fell back asleep. First of all, I don't know how you fall back asleep that soon and then wake back up again with nothing. Okay. And then you're in this panic for your adult child that I don't know. The control is astonishing to me. Okay. So now Amy is full on missing. He comes back. He cannot find her. He wakes up Iva. And now everybody is in full on panic mode. We can't find Amy. They go to Brent Hunter, the guest relations manager. We see him. They are saying, I can't find my daughter. We need to do this announcement. And they want to do what's called this voice page and to tell the rest of the guests. And he says, no, we're not going to do that at 7 o'clock in the morning. It's going to be too intrusive for everybody to wake up to that. We don't want our guests to wake up to that.
Right.
And to, I guess, be fair, I get that. But the family's like, are you joking? You know, my daughter's gone. What are you going to do to help us, basically?
Right. And I see both sides of this.
Yeah,
part of me goes, she's been gone for an hour. It's a big boat.
Yeah.
Like, did you check the restaurants? Like, well, we'll figure it out. Like, chill. It's probably fine.
Yeah.
The other part of me goes, shouldn't safety be the number one concern? Like, why is he not on the radio asking everybody to check and see, like, hey, just heads up, we're looking for this passenger.
Yeah.
Like, something like that. Couldn't there be something like that, even just internally?
Yeah.
And because, I don't know, I've watched a lot of, Matt and I call it Boat Show. We watch Below Deck.
Yeah.
All of the Below Decks. And granted, those are super yachts, and it's like 1 or 2 families at a time on these yachts, and they're all, or people, it's like 12 people max, whatever. But safety's always the number one concern, and like everything else gets trumped if something unsafe is happening. And I would have assumed, you'd think that it would go that way as well.
Yeah.
But it's not painted that safety is the number one concern. It's really the experience is painted as number one on these cruises.
Yep. So this Brent says, the guest relations manager says, nope, go look for another half an hour and come back. Go keep looking. Just basically shoos them away. Come back. Let me know what's going on.
And then you can talk to the security officer.
Yeah. And then the cruise director, Kirk, says, if you can't find her, then go to the purser's desk and we'll make an announcement, because Kirk is the one that controls all the announcements. He's the one that controls whether they're going to actually go to port and let everybody off the ship or not. He's going to do all of that. And so they know that the morning that they wake up that Amy is gone, they know they're docking in Curacao. And she's like, we're not doing this. You need to stop everything. You need to not let anybody off the boat. You need to basically just halt everything, make everybody stay in their room. And they basically give her the finger and say no. So
they're like, it's just not how that works. You don't get to hold up everyone else's vacation.
No.
They spent a lot of money.
Yes. Yep.
And I mean, if we were on vacation and everything got halted because one lady wasn't where she was supposed to be, I'd be like, well, now I missed my excursion. Yep. That's really, I paid $400 for that. Yep. But at the other end of this, or there's a woman missing. Yep.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So they dock in Curacao at 9 a.m. and Kirk says they do let everybody off the boat. Mm-hmm. And he says, okay, well, we will conduct what they call this Charlie drill, which is they have all the employees search the ship. And this is the first difference that I find in this documentary, the Netflix and the Hulu documentary. So the Netflix documentary, Kirk says, it takes 45 minutes to an hour with between 800 and 900 people searching this ship. It's a pretty big ship. We have a lot of people. It only takes about an hour to do. When I watched that, I thought, are you kidding? An hour? But I don't know. In the Netflix,
I've never worked on a cruise cruise ship.
Or in the Hulu documentary, this same guy, he says...
Kirk?
Kirk, in the same documentary, he said it took almost 4 hours to do. Almost a half a day to do it. Kirk, buddy.
Kirk.
What are you doing? So the Hulu documentary aired in 2018. So anyway, that was the first difference.
And he explained it as the Charlie drill is the same as like what they do for a bomb search.
Yeah.
So it should be pretty thorough.
Yeah, he said they checked every nook and cranny and closet and everything. They had their employees check their own cabins and do all of that. And, Steve and I were talking, you should have had everybody should have been locked in their own cabin. Even the passengers should have been looking in their own cabins. That being said, again, I don't know anything about anything, but everybody was off the ship except the employees and the Bradleys. So, and they had the Bradleys confined to a different area, apparently, and the employees were the only ones looking, and they did not find anything. So, Kirk came back and said, look, we just think she just jumped or fell. But they did call the harbor police in Curacao, and we meet this lovely gentleman named John Mentar, and he says, look, if she would have jumped or fell overboard, the currents would have washed her up. And plus we have sharks in these waters. These sharks don't eat the whole body. We would have had a leg or an arm or some body part would have washed ashore. And none of that happened. But they had the Venezuelan Coast Guard out. They had the Navy out. They had all these ships and airplanes and helicopters, everybody out looking once they docked in Curacao, and they could not find anything. So the family finally called back to America. They called Erin back at the house and told her that Amy was missing. And Erin said everybody was just so devastated and so sad on the phone. Everybody was crying. And really, really upset, rightfully so. And she was crying and upset. But then we go back to Kirk, and he's the cruise director, Mr. I don't even know what to call him. People did not like him. But he said about 6 o'clock, everybody, all 2,400 passengers came back on the ship. And he said, life goes on. We still had to entertain everybody.
He's like, it's a business.
Yep. Whoops. I know, right? Yeah. But then on the news, her missing story was now on the news. Mm-hmm. So it's going across the TV stations, and now all of her friends and family are finding out that she is missing off of this cruise. So then the first day of the investigation on March 25th, 1998, we meet a lady named Jamie Barnett, who is a cruise safety advocate. Her daughter died on a cruise in Mexico on a 3-day cruise, and now she works to improve safety and security on cruise ships because cruises are like a small city. Once you're 12 miles offshore, you are in international waters, and it is basically impossible to get any sort of like a security crew or police or any sort of.
She had really interesting points that I hadn't considered.
Right.
Like she was saying that the security team that is hired for the cruise line. Mm-hmm. They have security, but they're hired by the cruise lines.
Right.
So if it's something that the cruise line did, that is actually a conflict of interest right there.
Right.
And
right. So
that makes a lot of sense. I was also thinking, I don't know if you've heard, like, if they have a big event, like at the Super Bowl or just like a big football game or something like that, they have to have emergency responders there, and they'll calculate it based on statistically, we can expect X amount of heart attacks. Statistically, we could expect like somebody to have like an allergic reaction to something. And so we need to have a supply of EpiPens and different things like that. Like they will, for these big events, there are numbers that they can like look at. And what's a little bit wild is I'm wondering statistically, and I should have looked it up, but I didn't. What are the odds of like these people going missing, going overboard?
Yeah.
How often does someone just in general go missing? But then, every couple of years, a story will take off about one specific person who's gone missing. But meanwhile, there are thousands of people that go missing every year. So I'm wondering how there was the dad that just fell off with his daughter.
Yeah.
But then I think it also came out that he jumped off with his daughter or something dumb. So who knows? That's
a good point. Mm-hmm.
I'm wondering how often that is something that happens, that someone goes missing from one of these ships.
Sure. So then this is the investigation part. We start to meet all the FBI people that are involved in the FBI field offices in St. Thomas and in St. Martin. So we meet Aaron, Sheridan, and Victor McCollum. They are in, like I said, St. Thomas and St. Martin, and they have to fly to St. Martin to get on the ship because the ship doesn't dock in St. Martin. They dock like out in, they dock out in the sea and they get on a dinghy to go out into
they have the boats take people in and out instead of at the dock.
Right. So the FBI takes this dinghy to get onto the boat to do their investigation, to look in the cabin. So they're looking around in the cabin first. And of course, right, the cleaning crew has cleaned their cabin before they get there. But Amy's Birkenstocks are still out on the balcony, and the table has been pushed up against the wall of the balcony. And so they're thinking, well, we're not quite sure. Did she commit suicide? Did she fall overboard? Did she try to climb over the partition to the next room, right, to the next cabin? They're not quite sure, so they didn't really find anything in the cabin. And can I just say one more thing too with these FBI people? These FBI people, I swear to God, these 3 episodes have to be the most incompetent FBI people I have ever come across, because I have written down more thoughts that I could have done in an FBI investigation than these people could have done, because I don't even know, like...
See, I'm assuming that they have their hands tied in a lot of ways because it's international.
I mean, granted, I get that.
There's the extradition is its own difficulties, but it's like they can't go do searches. They can't go force interviews. They can't compel witnesses.
I get that. I
feel like they try. Poor FBI. Those poor guys. Slandered.
Stop it.
Aaron and Victor was pretty... Yeah, I found them likable. I liked them more than Kirk.
So the FBI interviews the family. They interview the family together, and then they interview the family separately one at a time, and the family is not happy about that, right? They're wondering, why are you interviewing us and not out there interviewing other people? And then Ron explains, look, they think we had something to do with it.
Right.
They think we did something to Amy. And then the FBI explains that the cabins have electronic key cards that they can see when people enter the rooms, but we can't see when they leave the room. So we know for sure when Amy came in, but you never know when people leave. So they're not sure. Obviously, people don't use their key card to leave. But they know that she, used her key card to get in the room at 3:30 or 3:40. And that is the last time she was actually in the room. And then after that, they just don't know. That's the only true fact that they have. So the ship does have security cameras, but they're in, common places, and they looked through those security cameras, and the cameras had nothing of interest that they could use in their investigation. So that was kind of a dead end. And then we come to a point in the episode. Now there are what I call a bunch of different sightings, I guess, of Amy. So now that the FBI are on the ship, they put these flyers on the doors on the outside of people's cabins that I guess Amy is missing, or have you seen Amy? And the first person we meet is a gentleman named Wayne Breitag. And this is the second difference from the Hulu documentary to the Netflix documentary. Ladies and gentlemen, Wayne Breitag works with Ron and Iva. They know each other. Yes.
What?
Yes, they do. They work together at the insurance company and know each other.
That's wild.
Thank you very much. And they show that in the Hulu documentary and say nothing about that in the Netflix documentary.
No. Wayne comes across as such a little creep.
Yeah. And even Iva said, Wayne is a little bit odd. Really, Iva? You say, and you completely show pictures of him in your work, all of you guys together at work. That's why Wayne is on this cruise, and that's why he's next to you on this cruise.
Yeah, no, my impression was that poor Wayne. Wayne is the one being slandered. Yeah, my vibe from Wayne is like, what a little creep. Loves going. He just goes on cruises by himself all the time. It's like, no, it's just that he won a cruise and no one would go with him.
Yeah.
Oh, Wayne.
No, Wayne works with them, and so yes, Wayne is a little weirdo in the Netflix documentary, has the cabin next to them and is talking to Amy, but yes, we don't know that in Netflix documentary, and
we just know that he was leaning over and chatting with her over the balcony, or possibly leering at these girls.
Yes, but he says he saw her at the disco club dancing, and like you said, leaning over the partition, talking to her. And he said the FBI interviewed him, and he said he saw Amy at 2 a.m. And he said he was just at the disco looking and leering at girls and just weird.
He was like, just checking out the girls.
Right. Weirdo
Chatting
Wayne.
up the ladies.
Yes.
It's like, well, he was in his 40s or
oh no, God,
late 40s at the time,
oh,
right?
Yeah. So there were this part, the other passengers were talking about, since they all had these flyers taped to their doors, the passengers were saying, oh, I heard rumors that this girl had fallen over the ship. No, I heard a rumor someone had committed suicide. No, I heard a rumor something had happened, right? All these rumors were going around. And then the FBI searched Wayne's room and they didn't find anything. And then Iva says this weird sentence or story that one of the passengers told her, that after Amy went missing, someone told her that in Wayne's room, the volume of his TV, the level was so loud, it was the "you've got to be kidding me" volume, and then people could hear him talking in the room, but nobody knew who he was talking to. So that was a weird inference or implication. So again, what is she talking about? Right? But she's not explaining that she knows him and that Amy knows him.
Which is so weird. Right.
And they're lopping this rumor out to just kind of nobody. And then the producers of Netflix looks at Wayne and said, somebody mentioned Amy tried to climb over the partition and fell to Wayne. And Wayne said, yeah, somebody could say that. And then he just stops. He just says that. What is that?
That was weird.
I don't understand. And then, so we meet another passenger / like videographer, photographer gentleman named Chris. And he said, he had this VHS video of Amy on the dance floor at the club dancing with one of the band members. Yeah. One of the band members. Everybody called Yellow. And his real name is Alistair Douglas. He had hundreds of, VHS tapes. And he said, he looked at the flyer and he said, I remember seeing her on one of my tapes. And so he found the tape that Amy was dancing in. And he, again, went totally right or left. I don't know which one's better. But saying she was just the life of the party and lit up the room and was so great. We saw her
and she made a point that she was there. Like people gravitated to her.
Yeah. And which again, I'm going to just say is so flippin' weird to say.
About a stranger?
Yes. Sorry. It's just so weird to say about a stranger. So we see the little clip of the video that he made of her dancing with Yellow, Alistair Douglas. People, the dancing is not great. Yes.
Well,
it's not great. Anyway.
She's from Chesterfield, Virginia.
Anyway, it is not dancing that lights up a room. It is not dancing that's going to draw people in. I am not a great dancer. I am not comparing it to me, just so you know. Anyway, so he gives the tape. He makes a copy of the tape. He gives it to the FBI. But then he says this weird story that someone calls him and says, hey, give me that.
The ship wants the masters.
Yeah. And he was like, no, screw you. I'm not going to give it to you. I'm sorry. I do not believe that story at all. No, I don't believe that story at all. I just don't believe that story. So,
I'm very gullible. I 100% believed him. And I'm very much on the, I don't trust this evil ship corporation. Because they're like, sometimes people get lost, but everyone else paid a lot of money to be here. And I could see they're their own floating city, basically. And they can be like, the captain goes, hey, I need those tapes. Because who knows what's on those tapes? It could make them look bad, and they're just trying to cover their ass.
It was just too convenient. It was too weird. All of a sudden, he gets this phone call. I don't know. It was weird. I don't believe it.
But he gave a copy to the FBI. Yeah. He was not going to give the originals to anyone. He was there making like a highlight reel of the thing, because there was like a company trip happening there. Yeah. That I'm assuming was not related to the insurance company.
Yeah, that's how
but who knows?
That's how I took that as well.
Yeah.
So then we have another convenient sighting. Yes, so we meet Lori Thompson and her girlfriend. So they see Amy and Alistair Douglas between 5 and 6 a.m. out on the upper deck, and they go up in this glass elevator, and Alistair Douglas is the only one that comes down. And that, she says, that was super weird. And she tells the FBI that. So he it was about 15 minutes that he was gone, or she and Alistair Douglas were gone for about 15 minutes. And so she tells the FBI that she remembers seeing Amy with Alistair Douglas during that time period. I absolutely do not believe that either. 100% don't believe these people. She says she was 18 years old at the time, and I think she was completely drunk. I don't believe any of these people. I believe Wayne because he's a creepy, weird old guy. And he knows them and probably did talk to Amy, probably was leering and lurking at her at the dance club while she was dancing with Yellow. So anyway, we hear those two people talk about seeing Amy or videotaping Amy. So then people are now pointing the finger at this band member, Alistair Douglas. So then the FBI interview and do a polygraph on this gentleman, and he says, look, I danced with her and I flirted with her, and like I said in the beginning, I think that's their job. Their job is to talk to these people. And he said, look, I had nothing to do with it.
A fun, flirty vibe.
Yep.
That's what you're going for. You're trying to
absolutely
create this vacation atmosphere.
Absolutely.
I am easily, I'm gullible, I guess. So I didn't even question that these girls had seen her. And they had actually said they had recognized Brad and Amy because there weren't that many younger people on the boat.
Yeah.
And so she noticed her more than once.
Sure.
But I think you're right. They were definitely all drunk. They had talked about, they had tried to get back into their room later, and they had lost their key card. Yeah. So, I don't know how reliable these girls are.
I have lots of theories. I have written them down. I have lots of theories I want to tell you about. So, anyway.
Okay.
The FBI said, look, did she fall off? Did she commit suicide? Did she feel sick and fall into the water? Did she move furniture, jump overboard? Did she meet somebody and walk off the ship? Was she smuggled off the ship? They're not sure. There's all these different things they have to look into. So now it's day 4. They are back in St. Thomas, and the family says, I will say it again. The family says, they have a friend that says, if you go back to Puerto Rico, I think you'll have a hard time watching the news. I think you should go home.
Yeah.
And the family says, okay, I'm going to go home.
And the news is going to be crazy. There's going to be people trying to interview them.
I'm going to go home.
Don't do that, yeah.
People, I have such a hard time with this. If my kid was gone and I'm in a foreign country and she is gone, I am moving there. I'm moving there. I'm done. I'm quitting my job. I'm buying a house. I am not leaving that place. I thought of Natalie Holloway. Do you remember Natalie Holloway's mother?
No. I don't know that story.
Okay. Natalie Holloway went on a girls' she turned 18 and went on a senior trip to...
She was blonde.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I do remember her now. Yeah.
Her mother flew there and stayed there for almost a year and didn't leave. Didn't leave. The woman didn't leave for almost a year. Was like, I'm living here. I'm not leaving without my daughter. You killed my daughter. My daughter is here somewhere. Her body is here somewhere. I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving without her.
He's like an European guy, right?
Yeah, yeah.
They
he was from Peru or something like that.
Oh, that's not Europe.
But anyway, that is what I would do. And when Steve and I watched the show, he turned to me and looked at me and goes, "You would not leave. You would not leave. You would quit your job. You would look at me and go, I'm not leaving. You can fly home. I don't care. I'm not leaving." And I would not go. I don't care what it would take. I don't care how much money it would take. I would not leave. If they believed so intently that their daughter was there, why are you going home? Why are you going home? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I just don't
Or at
believe.
least one of them would, right? There's two.
I understand as a mother how devastating and how sad you are. And maybe you can't deal with, right, watching it on the news or something like that. I completely can get behind that. But also the fury and the anger of, I'm not leaving without you, and I will find you, and my hands will bleed and my feet will bleed because I will walk to the ends of the earth to find you, would take over the emotion of being sad. This is why I believe that somehow, some way, the family had something to do with it. And I'm so sorry that I've said those words out loud. They left. They left a day early. You are so comfortable leaving. And you're like, okay, I'm going to go home. Okay, I'm going to go home. I don't think that the mother knows anything.
I don't get the vibe from the mom that she had.
No,
she's just been fighting to figure out what happened to her daughter.
Upset.
Yes,
the father and the brother, both or one, know something, and you don't leave a day early, or convince the mother to leave a day early, without being certain that it's over. I'm sorry.
No, I see where you're going. And I would say the initial fact that the dad could find his daughter right away and is sounding the alarm.
Yeah.
Immediately after she goes missing.
Yeah.
His adult daughter who he didn't, look for a little bit longer.
Yeah.
Before he's like, she's gone, she's missing, everyone get up.
Yeah.
I feel like that. But also, if he had nothing to do with it, he just his intuition was correct.
Yeah.
And he was right to do that. So it's hard to say.
Yeah.
I can see either one of those being correct.
Yeah. There's just, I don't know. So they leave a day early. They fly home. Mom is devastated. And again, Dad says on the flight home, he says, there's a big windstorm as they're flying in to Virginia, to their hometown. And he's thinking, if this plane crashes, I'm completely fine with it. You can take me away. You know why? Do you know why you're okay to die, sir? Please don't make me say it. I'm so sorry, but this is another red flag for me. So, and it could be just because he's so sad, and that's okay. But so that's the news, the end of the episode, right? The news story is running, and we meet this gentleman named David Carmichael, and he says, "Oh, I know that girl. I saw her alive." And you're like, oh my God, there's another sighting, right? You're like, holy crap, here we go. So episode 2 is a bunch of sightings, right? And this news conference. So episode 2 picks up with 6 months after. So we go to August of 1998. Like I said, we meet David Carmichael. He goes to Curacao from Calgary on this diving trip to this exclusive beach that only, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, I don't know how many people can only go on this beach.
It's like a locals only kind of vibe. People don't know. It's hard to get to, so people aren't going there on their cruise.
Yeah. Half a dozen people can go on this beach, and he is with his diving crew, and they're washing their equipment, and he sees these 3 people coming toward them. There's one guy and a girl in the middle, and he says they're coming towards him, and the girl comes right up to him. She feels comfortable enough to come right up to him, and she says she's in good shape and she's tan. Mm-hmm. He can tell she's a smoker, and he sees a tattoo of a Tasmanian devil. And he says she's about to say something to him, and this man just stares at him, and this man takes this woman away from David, and they just walk away. And this whole encounter makes this gigantic impact on him on this exclusive beach in Curacao, and he just can't get out of his mind. I mean, what are the odds that this man can see this tattoo, can see that she's a smoker, and this woman is so comfortable that she can walk up to him and try and talk to him? This encounter is so incredible. What in the actual hell? Have you ever had a stranger just... No. No. These things don't happen in real life. These things don't happen in real life. Okay, sorry. It's just my opinion. Anyway, so it makes this huge impact on David. And then we go back to April. It's 24 days after Amy goes missing. So we jump back in time, and Ron and Brad flew back to Curacao to have a press conference in Curacao.
Yeah.
And try and get Amy's story out in the news there. We get to see a little clip, right, of their press conference there. They're just saying they asked the director to not stop the ship and not let the passengers off. And we see the press asking them questions about who was the last person to see her alive, and do you think she fell overboard, and what was she wearing, and just things like that. And what was she drinking, and how much was she drinking, and things like that. So you get to see the press conference that they had. We find out that Iva stayed home so she could man the phones. And she talks about how when she got home, and again, she's just, you just want to give this woman a hug. You just want to embrace her and hold her. And she said, she didn't sleep for days. She didn't eat for days. And then she just got up, and she has done nothing since but try and find her daughter. And I can completely get behind that, like I said.
She set up her house like a command center and had people wrangled in to help with manning the phones.
Totally.
Hot tip line, emails.
Yep. Yeah, they raised the reward to $260,000. So after the press conference, Ron and Brad said they left the press conference. They were standing in the lobby, and they have this man named Deshi come up to him, who happens to be a taxi driver, and, say... They have a flyer and say, "Is this your daughter?" And apparently this man says, he saw her, the taxi driver saw her, that he says that Amy came up to his taxi and asked for where a telephone was, and the taxi driver pointed to where the phones were, and he said that she went in the opposite direction. And so this Deshi person told them where to go look, apparently at a certain resort, and I guess at a certain place on the island. And so they got the harbor police chief to go with them.
Yeah.
Because apparently there's like the mafia or something.
There's a lot of crime.
Yeah.
It's organized. They immediately would be recognized as outsiders.
Yes.
They would get beaten up or worse.
Very scary to hear.
And he's like, you need me to be with you.
Yeah.
You can't go on your own. They keep the taxi driver had said, like, she seemed frantic, which is why he really remembered it. And she had these striking green eyes.
Yeah.
And then he saw the picture and immediately was like, oh, that's that girl that was freaking out. I don't understand how he pointed them in the direction of the other resort. And I also don't understand how he was like, also check out this other area. But I think it's people wanting to be helpful is what I'm hoping is behind that. Going like, maybe this is where just throwing that out there. But the dad and the brother, I guess, are with this kind of harbor police chief guy, and they're driving around all over the place, and they're showing the aerial shots of the island, and it is so very, very different than these harbor, like, tourist docking places.
Yeah.
It's very, like, shambled together.
Yeah.
They're describing the roads are all dirt roads.
Yep.
And it does seem like it's very sketchy. You just have to go 3 more blocks down and it's not a safe place to be.
Yeah. Yeah. So conveniently, one road leads to like a junkyard. They go into a shack, and on a mattress is some Tic Tacs. And Ron's like, well, Amy likes Tic Tacs. Maybe she was here. I don't know. It's just grasping at straws, and you're feeling so sad for them. And obviously this sighting leads nowhere. So then as they're driving at 1 a.m. in the morning, Brad says they're driving down this dirt path. He says he hears Amy's voice say his name from a car that's driving past them. Mm-hmm. And they turn around, follow the car, chase it down, and they go and look in the car, and it's just this old guy. This is the third and final difference that I noticed in the Hulu documentary versus the Netflix documentary. So in this documentary, the Netflix, like I said, Brad said he was in a car. It's 1 a.m. and they're driving down the dirt road. In the Hulu documentary, it's daytime and he's walking down the city street and he just hears her behind him. Say it.
Well, that's very different.
As he and his dad are just walking around the streets of Curacao. That's what the Hulu documentary says. So, anyway. Yeah. Okay. So.
Well, that's weird.
I know. So now, Iva and Ron have got their story on America's Most Wanted. Mm-hmm. It's been 9 months, since Amy's gone missing. And, we go back to this inclusive beach sighting with David Carmichael, right? This is the diving situation. He goes and talks to the FBI. He tells him his story, and the FBI says, can you identify any of the people that were with Amy? And they show him a picture of Alistair Douglas, and he said, yep, that is him. He was with her.
That's the guy that stared him down.
The guy that stared him down. That is convenient. So now we have Lori said that he was with her. David, the beach guy, said he was with her. This photographer or videographer said he was dancing with her. We go a little bit kind of bouncing all over. We go back to Amy's friends are all talking about Amy back home, that she, is described as physically strong, but she's kind of a small, tiny girl, right? She's a star basketball player. She's mentally strong, but somebody could put her apparently in luggage and take her off and smuggle her off the boat. And Steve and I talked about that. Steve looked at me and he goes, somebody could probably smuggle you off of a boat and some luggage. And I said, absolutely not. There is no way somebody could smuggle me in luggage off of a boat. There's no way. But, her friends seemed to think she was small enough that she could fit in some luggage off a boat. But I find that hard to believe somebody could do that to another person, but that's just me. Her friends did talk about that. We do meet Kat Lovelace, who ends up being Amy's first girlfriend. One of Amy's friends, Sarah, said her favorite memory is when Amy came out to her in college. And yeah, she came out to her and Sarah helped her tell her parents. And Kat, was Amy's first girlfriend. And so Amy told her parents that she was gay and that Kat was her girlfriend. And Ron and Iva were not happy about it, to say the least. They were disappointed. And come to find out that Ron wrote a 3-page letter to Kat about the girlfriend about his disappointment and his feelings.
And how he's not cool. The mom said this is the 90s. It was a time where the biggest concern was that how is the world going to be treating their daughter? I didn't necessarily get that there was disappointment from the mom in her, but the mom it seemed like more of a worry for the mom. Like, this is something that's not going to make your life any easier kind of thing. But it didn't seem like that changed her mom's opinion of anything. But they seemed kind of religious, conservative
yes,
people.
Definitely.
The dad writing the letter was like, oh, and not to stereotype, but in the 90s, if you had the haircuts and dressed the way that Amy did,
yes,
I would go,
yep,
I think she's a lesbian. She looked like my aunt.
Yeah.
No, yeah. I mean, my
Definitely.
parents played a lot of co-ed softball,
yep.
and the women that were playing co-ed softball that looked like Amy
yep.
had girlfriends and wives.
Yes.
So, I wasn't surprised by that when they were like, and Amy came out, and they were like,
no.
So then when they're pushing the narrative that, all of the people on the ship that are working there
yes.
are really giving her attention, I got the vibe that became a family joke because they're kind of hoping
yes.
that she feels like that's positive attention that she wants. I think also like they're trying to push the theory that the ship, the people, the staff on the ship had something going on there. But also I think before that, when it was just a family joke that the ship people were giving her a lot of attention, it kind of felt like they were pushing her in the, that guy thinks you're really pretty. This other guy thinks you're really pretty. Oh, he likes your picture kind of thing.
Yeah. No, I instantly knew she was a lesbian 100% before they even said it. And then, like I said, when they started talking that the waitstaff was showing her attention, I was thinking, oh, this does not feel right. To me, the family wants to push the narrative that they want the public to be comfortable with their daughter not gay. And so they would rather say the waitstaff showed her attention, like a male showed her attention.
Yes.
You see what I mean?
I do see that, yeah.
And so that's why it felt icky. It was giving me the ick. Yeah.
Yeah, very early on. I mean, when they're showing her, she's she's in great shape.
Yes.
She played basketball through college.
Yeah.
She is she's a beautiful woman.
Yeah.
Gorgeous eyes. Mm-hmm. But the dress that she wore to the formal night, gorgeous dress. Mm-hmm. But the way that she's styling herself, the way that she's presenting herself, it did feel, even in the dress, even with the choker necklace with the hearts, like it still felt very masculine presenting. Yeah. Just like a vibe.
Yes. No, it was very, Kat said after the letter, it put a lot of strain on their relationship between her and Amy in college. And Amy started to drink a lot. Then Aaron, the FBI investigator, said the family told her Amy had challenges in her relationships, quote unquote. That feels icky to me. Yeah. That feels like they didn't accept her being a lesbian at all. At all. That was, I didn't like that at all. So Amy's friends, they didn't believe she committed suicide. She was very happy. She had the new puppy and the new apartment and the new job. And so they all believed, no, she is not going to kill herself, and didn't believe that at all. So then we get another convenient sighting. This time 10 months after she goes missing in January of 1999 by this lovely gentleman from the Navy named Bill, who... I
don't like Bill.
I don't like
Just
Bill.
Just so everyone knows. No. Bill sucks.
Bill is not believable at all, and I have reasons. I can't wait. Bill's not believable. So Bill is in the Navy. He's on the USS Chandler. And he docks in Curacao in January of 1999, and he docks there overnight. And apparently, I think you're supposed to, when you're in the Navy, have some sort of shipmate. You guys go in buddies, apparently, and he only went by himself. So that was a no-no, number one. And the no-no...
Isn't Steve in the Navy?
Yes. And the no-no number two is he went to a brothel. That's what this illegal bar, he kept calling it. It was a brothel.
Well, there's a hotel above. He was also like very, I don't know, like he thinks his story is very cool.
It's very believable. It is not believable, Bill, sir. So, yes. So he goes into this brothel. He says, these two girls and two guys come from the hotel above, come downstairs. And, you know, there's a white girl and a Hispanic girl. And the white girl is petite with dark hair and tattoos. And one of the girls walks away, and the other girl conveniently walks up to him and says, hey, they're holding me against my will. Again, a stranger feels comfortable enough to come up to him and says, they're holding me against my will. I owe these people $200 and I can't get my freedom. And he says, look, dude, I've been in the Navy 18 years and I've heard it from all these working girls. What is slime?
He's been all over South Asia.
All over. Yeah.
He knows all about how he's heard every story in the book.
Yeah.
We're like, maybe you need to not be going to these places, Bill.
Right. So,
yeah. And he was like, all the guys had guns. And you're like, who are you impressing? He just felt very proud of himself telling this story. But if this story is true, he sucks. Even worse. If the story, it sucks that I don't believe him either. I watched this, and for the first time I didn't believe Bill. Yeah. He was telling the story, and I was like, whatever, I don't believe him for a second. Yeah. And usually I'm gullible and I will believe everyone as they're telling it. Bill, I was like, fuck off, Bill. And if what Bill was saying is true, and this did happen, and he did see her, he's a piece of shit. Yeah, it's pretty bad. So Bill says she said her name is Amy Bradley, but it was in a southern accent, and it sounded like Brantley. And he said she told him that she got off the ship
on her own to score drugs. Her and her brother were partying and she went ashore and just got stuck. Again, a total stranger would tell you all of that. So that is convenient again. And then he said it wasn't until 2001 when that People magazine cover came out, when he saw her picture, that he remembered that interaction, and he went to the FBI and he told his story. He said he took a polygraph. And so the FBI then went to that brothel and tried to corroborate his story, and they couldn't, corroborate anything he said.
He also waited to tell anyone that story because he was waiting to retire from the Navy. He didn't want to get in trouble for doing what he did and then get retired at a lower rank.
Yeah. So the producers asked him, how sure were you that was Amy? And he said, well, it just looked like the picture. That is all. So, I mean, it is what it is.
Congrats, Bill. You were on TV, and now strangers are talking about you.
Yeah, so...
You fat POS.
Brad said Amy wouldn't be doing drugs, and Iva said Amy wouldn't be doing drugs, but Bill is a legitimate witness.
She wants him to be.
Here's the thing.
She wants her daughter to have been seen.
I think
that's what she wants.
I think the parents are more comfortable that their daughter is doing drugs than their daughter being a lesbian. Honestly.
Oh, I didn't think of it that way.
Yep. So yeah. Anyway, they start to go back to this spinning and talking about the wait staff showing Amy more attention. And then we go to 2001 and we meet a new FBI investigator, Michael Clark. And this guy, I think, could not find his ass from a hole in the ground, honestly. Anyway, yeah. The family said they were talking to hospitals and prisons and embassies, and they were talking to the news stories, and they did hundreds and hundreds of interviews. And Iva said every time she did that, she would just relive it over and over again, that poor woman. And you could just tell it would just wear her down. Anyway, so now they're, like you said, they would get emails, and these emails that they were getting were just awful. Some of these emails, for example, were like her feet were being cut with razor blades so she couldn't escape. Another one was Amy is being tied to a tree. Another one was, for example, she's hit in the head with a hatchet and buried in a shallow grave and in Venezuela. And here are the coordinates. And then Iva said we would look that up, and there no such coordinate would exist.
Oh, holy fucking shit. And you have to believe it for a second. You have to go, okay, is this real?
Yeah.
And so you have to entertain that.
Yeah.
And then she looks it up and goes, those coordinates don't even exist.
Yeah. That's just awful. That's so
horrible.
Awful to have to do that.
How many of those, who are the people
do that? Yeah.
This is the thing. Who's doing that?
Right.
This is the same as like, who is sending death threats to Janet on the internet? I know that it's happening.
Yeah.
I know that it's happening. But who's doing that?
Right.
Who is making up, I think this is how their daughter died, and then actually emails them? Who are the people who do this? Who's doing it? Who's sending it? This poor fucking woman. Iva does not deserve this. It's so awful. And there's some versions where I think that David Carmichael, was that his name?
Yeah.
I think he's genuinely trying to be helpful. Right? I think he's saying, oh, I think I saw her and I think this is what happened.
Yeah.
I think he thinks he's doing things from a good place. I think there are some of those emails that they send that have good intentions behind it, but there are enough there, like here are the coordinates of it, here we've been cutting her, where they can be proven not real, that have to have false and bad intentions. Who has bad intentions like that? Who wants to do those things?
Yeah.
That That part really bothered me.
Yeah, that was awful.
For however many years she's been having to read emails like that every day.
Over and over again, right?
Yeah.
So in 2005, they get a couple photos of this woman that is from a website where people would meet for free sex or engage with prostitutes. And it's a photo of a woman with dark hair, long dark hair. And I would describe her hair as kind of 80s-ish hair, like feathered and kind of short. Anyway.
Like a brushed out perm.
Yeah, maybe.
Going in every which direction.
Yeah, so she's on a bed and she has panties on and a lace top and some high heels, and some pictures she has no top on. She's facing forward, right. Other pictures, she's looking at the camera, side profile and other pictures, and she has makeup on. Anyway, and so the family thinks that this might be Amy, so they send it to the FBI, and the FBI does a forensic analysis with the measurements for like her chin and her shoulder and arms and ear.
And like where her ear is, things that wouldn't move, even as you age, things that aren't going to be moving on your face. Like, where does your cheekbone hit? Where is your ear in reference to your eye and your...
Yeah, her hairline, things like that.
And it was really stressful to look at those pictures because as they're comparing them, Amy, in all of the footage that her parents have and all the pictures and everything that they're comparing it to, she's so clean cut. She's very like clean girl aesthetic. She's not wearing a lot of makeup.
Right.
That's just not her vibe at all. So then to see this look so similar to her, but in this very jarring juxtaposition of how she's presented in these photos versus everything else that we've seen of her so far. It was like, and the pictures are so, I can't think of the word, risque. I mean, and so salacious. Is that the word?
Yeah.
And it's just so, I mean, hey, here's some pictures we think might be your daughter, and it's like porn. And I hate that Iva saw that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the FBI determines that they believe it is Amy. I don't think it is. That is my opinion. Yes.
Oh,
I don't believe it is. But the FBI believes it is. And the family loses their shit, obviously. They are devastated. They say they have never lost hope that she was alive. So they go on Dr. Phil and they put the photos out on Dr. Phil and they say the FBI believes this is Amy. And lo and behold, we meet another person who has had a sighting and interaction with Amy. Her name is Judy. And Judy has seen Amy in March of 2005 in Barbados. And Judy's story, so she's watching Dr. Phil one day after work, just relaxing and having a good old time. And Judy says her and her husband were on a cruise and they had docked in Barbados and wanted to get some souvenirs. And so she couldn't find anything and they were going to go back to the cruise ship to get something to eat, but she needed to go use the restroom. She goes into the restroom and then she hears some people come in and she says there are men in the restroom. So she does not come out of the stall, but she hears these people talking. So she comes out and there's a woman standing at the sink and she says she's got wild and crazy hair and she's standing at the sink crying. So Judy goes over to the sink and says hi to the woman. Ask her if she's on vacation, and the woman just shakes her head no. Ask her if she lives there, and the woman just shakes her head no, and she just says this woman won't talk to her. And Judy asks her name, and the woman says her name is Amy, but has a Southern American accent. And then Judy says, where are you from? And she says she says West Virginia. And so then Judy says, oh, I'm from near there. I have a daughter, about your age. Her name is Amy also. And so then this woman walks towards Judy and backs Judy up against a wall. And Judy says, I just froze and I'm playing this kind of dumb tourist trying to get out of the bathroom. She's like, it's nice to meet you. I hope you have a good time wherever you're going. I need to go. She's trying to get out of the bathroom. So Judy opens the door and says, excuse me, I need to leave. Excuse me, but there's a man standing outside of the restroom, and finally leaves, and then says to her husband, you just keep thinking about that woman. But then Judy calls the FBI after the Dr. Phil show and says, I think I saw her in Barbados in 2005. So the FBI does an investigation. They go to that restroom where Judy says she saw her, and they can't find anything. Here's my thing. Why doesn't the FBI just click on the goddamn website? Just click on it. Why? Why don't they just click on it and make an appointment?
Well, is it still functional? Is my assumption, is I just assume that it doesn't work anymore. Is that really, they can't look up the IP addresses to investigate because it's in another country. The other country's not going to let them go do that.
This FBI guy, again, can't find his ass from a hole in the ground. That is the first thing I would do. Stop it. Just stop it. I mean, you can reverse image these photos. Stop it.
That's exactly what Matt said. Matt said everything that you're saying. He's like, why didn't they just go? Why didn't they just see where that website came from?
Right.
Because they can't subpoena the service providers for the internet there. They can't. They're not allowed to get that information. They're not going to give it. They don't have to. It's a different country. Because it's like the second that you see that, you go, okay, make that appointment. But how old are those pictures? And are those pictures even used? And the fact that that human trafficking and sex trafficking and drug trafficking are so rampant there, and it's so easy. They have these like the makeshift runways, and everyone has access to water for the most part. It's like, even in the U.S., we were talking about what's his face 2 weeks ago, and he can escape the U.S. police in the water, and that's all they have there.
Yeah.
It seems like a needle in a haystack.
Yeah.
And especially when I don't profess to be an expert by any means, but what I do know is like with the sex trafficking and human trafficking, they shuffle these people around so much. So, I mean, if she was in Barbados, they weren't there originally. She's probably been moved around 10,000 times.
Yeah. So at the end of episode 2, then we hear this really weird voicemail to the Bradleys from Alistair Douglas's adult daughter named Amika, saying that she has some information and wants to talk to them. And you're thinking, what is going on? What the heck is happening? So then we go to episode 3, and episode 3 just starts out with poor Iva going through Amy's actual, travel bag that they still have packed up in their attic. They're just looking at it, showing. They literally have her wallet, her change, her toothbrush, and the actual dress that she wore in that formal dinner. And Iva's just crying desperately, showing them all of these things. And you just feel so sad for this poor woman that, Amy packed for the cruise. And Brad saying, when he got home, he stopped going to school for a period of time, which rightfully so, after they got back. And Brad said, he's 48 years old right now. And, he doesn't have any children. And he said, subconsciously watching his parents go through everything, he just he's not willing to go through that himself. So that's why he's just single and where he's at in his life right now but we do meet Alistair Douglas's daughter, Amika, who is an adult and has her own child at this point. And so it is this point 2007, and yes, Amika leaves a voicemail for the Bradleys and says, look, I'd love to talk to you. I have information, and if you want to talk to me. So we meet her. She says she was born in Grenada, and she remembers her dad being in a band and being gone a lot on cruises, playing in his band. She said his parents divorced when she was 1 or 2. And she said when she got older, her mom told her that something happened on one of her dad's cruises, and that if she were to research his name, that she would find out about it. So she said she wasn't born at the time, but I think they, inferred that her mom was pregnant with her when it happened.
That's what I got.
Yeah. So she said her mom said that he came home one day after it happened and that everything kind of changed. He seemed changed, I guess. And that her mom tried to have a conversation with him. And he had just come home with a bag, and it was the bag. She looked in the bag. The mom looked in the bag, and the bag was full of Caucasian women, pictures of Caucasian women. And Amika said she thought that was a red flag. She wasn't quite sure why he had this bag full of these pictures. So on camera, she calls her dad and just asks him, about what happened, asks him about the story. And he said, look, I didn't do anything wrong. The FBI was brought on me immediately. And she said, Dad, I'm hearing all of this stuff that you were on a beach with her. And he said, look, what beach? What beach was I on? Mm-hmm. And he said, I don't like beaches. What beach was I on? Look, I danced with her at a club. I danced with many people at the club. I did nothing wrong, and I left her at 1 a.m. She said, look, Daddy, you had pictures of all these Caucasian women. And he said, which one of those pictures was her? And she said, why? Why do you have all these pictures? And she said, if this happened to me, how would you feel? And he said, I would do everything in my power to find you. I had nothing to do with this. And he just hung up the phone. And so she's really upset. And she says, I just want peace for everybody. And she seems to be struggling with it too. I have thoughts again, but
okay, tell me about your thoughts. I just
have thoughts. I have so many thoughts that I want to get to. So here's my thing. So all of these, I want to go back just for a second. All of these rumors, right? The rumors from the beginning where the FBI were on the boat at the beginning and people were like, I heard the FBI's on the boat because maybe somebody fell off. The FBI's on the boat, maybe somebody committed suicide. And then we start with, right, the photographer was like, oh yeah, I know that girl because I videotaped her. Here's the tape. And then we have Lori conveniently going, yeah, I saw her with Alistair. And then we have the Navy guy going, yeah, I saw her in the brothel. And then we have David Carmichael. Yeah, I saw her on this exclusive beach with Yellow. And then we have Amika really upset about her dad. Is it possible? Is it possible that the dad and the brother, one or both of them, that they started these rumors.
Ooh.
That they may have perpetrated this Alistair story, that they put his name out there over and over again, and that they paid these people money.
Oh, all right.
So these are the thoughts that I have, because Navy guy is a creep. Lori Thompson was 18 years old and a drunk. Wayne is a weirdo. I think Wayne's a weirdo. I don't think they did anything with Wayne. The photographer is a weirdo, and he was very animated and over the top. They keep perpetrating and putting out there this waitstaff story. Amika, I really think they could have bought off and said, your dad, here's a bunch of money.
I think she just has a weird relationship with her dad, who traveled all the time and divorced her mom, and her mom's pissed off and goes,
I mean,
you know what he did. Like if you're a little kid when you hear that story, I think it would fuck you up. I don't think the Alistair or Yellow, I don't think that holds enough water for me.
No.
Personally.
No. I don't think he had anything to do with it.
And it's not like she would have followed him around. She's not into that.
No, I don't think she would have followed
that's just not
him.
Her thing.
No, I don't think she would have gone anywhere with him. But the family, and people online are saying, if the family had something to do with it, say the family, the brother or the dad did something to her, why then would they keep wanting this story out? Why would they just be like, I don't want to talk about it anymore? You know what I mean? That's, if people commit crimes, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
People commit crimes they don't want it talked about. They want to hide. They want to go crawl in a hole. They don't want to be found out. Right? I mean, in theory, they don't want law enforcement anywhere near them. My thought is they put the heat on this guy over and over and over again. They pay these people to keep saying his name and keep putting their daughter's name out in the media, right? Law enforcement, obviously, and the news won't forget her. And then they twist the story towards him. And they conveniently, their timing, they just make sure these people talk about, the people they've paid off, they bring up these stories conveniently just on these timelines, right? So it doesn't look weird enough that it's like, well, you saw her, and then you saw her, and then you saw her. But these stories just don't make sense to me. They just don't. They don't make sense to me.
Do you think the same thing about Judy?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think the same thing about Judy.
I think Judy's story, I feel like I really want... It's a horrible story. It's
absolutely horrible story.
But I also want to believe it. Right? That's kind of how that's how I read into it.
Yeah.
I think what you're saying, I get it. I found the brother very, like, I was on his side for this. Like, I thought he was endearing, and I felt sad for him. The dad has just wasted away. You hear that he sent that letter, and the way that he's reacted to things is suspicious to me. But also, people reacted to trauma in different ways. So I go, I don't know. I don't want to put anything on him for sure. I want Amy to be alive, I guess, is where I'm still at.
Okay.
But I do see what you're saying. And then I'm going to think about it for a while and definitely go down that rabbit hole.
I just feel like they're super controlling over her. They do not want her to be a lesbian. They do not want that life for her. They found out she was a lesbian. They have taken her away, and now they have to come back and deal with her being a lesbian, and they absolutely are not going to they're not going to deal with that. And he's not going to let that happen. He's not going to let her be happy. In episode 3, we meet her girlfriend and the love of her life, Molly. God. And she is planning on being happy with Molly. And I don't think that Amy's dad was going to let that happen. So after we can go back to after Amika talks to her dad and he hangs up on her. We go back to Erin, the investigator. She said, if we had anything on Alistair, we would have arrested him. And we didn't have anything on him. We had Alistair's keypad. He entered his cabin at 3:35. So we know he was in his room at 3:35 a.m. And that's it. So she said, Erin said, look, we couldn't find that Alistair Douglas did anything wrong. So then they go back, right, and explain, about how you're 12 miles out to sea and you're in international waters on these cruise ships. And it's just really hard to get security. So we'll go back to what I said. So we meet Molly, and this is Amy's girlfriend before she went on the cruise ship. I heart Molly. I
love Molly.
Yes. Molly McClure, she has this message in a bottle, this beautiful message that Amy had written to her. And we get to hear about their history together. So her and Amy met at basketball tryouts when Molly was 14. And Molly was shy and Amy was confident, and they were on a travel team together, and they became really close friends. And she said they had sleepovers at each other's house, and they were clearly falling for each other. But
they didn't realize
they didn't know it exactly when they were 14 years old. So they grew up, and Amy and Molly went to different colleges, and she said they both came out in college, but they obviously didn't know that the other...
Yeah, they're at different schools.
Right, different schools. They didn't know...
This is pre-Facebook.
Yes. Or MySpace, right? They didn't know that they came out.
Before that too.
Yep. And after graduation, they met up at a gay bar, and they were dancing, and they were just catching up with each other. And on the car ride home, she said they decided they were into each other and just were kissing in the car for like an hour. And she said it was wonderful and just great and lovely. So Molly ended up getting a job at the University of Kentucky, and they decided they were going to be together no matter what. And they were going to pursue a long distance relationship. And Amy would go and see Molly on the weekends in January 1998. So the cruise was March 98. But in January 1998, Amy calls Molly and says that Amy had kissed somebody else. But Amy said, look, I had been drinking and it didn't mean anything, but it just confirmed Amy's feelings for Molly. But Molly was upset and needed time to process it. And Molly said, look, she wasn't returning Amy's phone calls and was really upset about it. And so Amy resorted to writing Molly letters. And she wrote Molly this message in a bottle about it. And it was dated February 24th, 1998. And I just wrote down little snippets of what was in the letter. It talks about her hurt is deeper than she can ever forget. Hopefully she can find it in her heart to forgive her. She begs her to forgive her. Amy says she was insensitive, immature, and selfish, and she's not proud of how she acted. She feels like there's an ocean between them, and Amy's on a desert island waiting for her to rescue her. Amy says, I miss you. Save me. Signed,
it's super
Stranded
romantic.
Amy. Yes, very romantic.
So romantic.
It was wonderful. It was so beautifully written. Yeah. So then you're thinking as you're watching this, you're like, oh my God, she committed suicide, right? You're thinking,
right.
She full on jumped. You're like, oh my God, the show's over. She jumped. After this, you're like, this is a month before she goes on this cruise and she's had this fight with Molly and she has totally killed herself. But spoiler alert, they get back together and everything is fine.
The message in the bottle worked.
Yes.
And it moved Molly and
Yes.
and they get back together and she's like, we are going to have a future together.
Yeah.
And they're totally in love.
Yeah.
And she goes to go meet the puppy.
Yeah.
The bulldog Bailey.
Yeah. Yes. It was so great. So we fast forward and we meet this guy named Anthony Willis in Australia. So we talk about this true crime kind of
explosion.
Yeah, explosion on the internet. People in 2018, people are doing a lot of things on social media, being really interested in, like we are with true crime stuff.
These like women doing podcasts.
What? In their spare time, talking about other stuff, other people's lives. So Anthony becomes aware of Amy's case in 2014, and he's really interested in her case, and he starts researching everything about it. And he decides to create a website, amybradleyismissing.com, where he puts all the photos and archive links and tips and threads and theories all on this website. Mm-hmm. And come to find out that David Carmichael, the guy from the diving beach inclusive situation, has been talking to Iva, Amy's mom, and he finds out from Iva about this website that Anthony has created. So David calls Anthony, and now David and Anthony get together and start putting their heads together with this website, because David is this telecommunication specialist networking dude.
Good for him.
Yeah, which I think he might be doing some illegal stuff.
Oh, really?
I don't know. Because Erin, the FBI chick, was like, we can't do all this IP checking.
And he's like,
yes, we can. So
here it is. Well, I think also probably what she was doing.
Yeah.
Because the case got taken over by the other guy.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if they dropped the case. Although I liked FBI Lady because she also was like, I wanted to make sure at 20 years we put out new stuff. Here's the age progression. I don't look the same as I did when I was 20. So here's 20 years later what Amy like. I like that I think that she has very good intentions with what she wants to do.
So Anthony,
her hands are tied.
Yeah, and David say they have what's called string data from the website, and they have IP tracking from the website, and they say we're going to mine the data from the website. Right. Yep. And they find out where all these IP addresses are coming from that look at the website. And so Anthony starts sending David all of this data, and David starts filtering all the data for any patterns from these IP addresses that are looking at the website. And David starts noticing a lot of these IP addresses are coming from Barbados. So the same place that Judy said she saw the lady that looked like the photo that was in like the prostitute website picture, I guess.
Yeah.
And so David then starts to see how many times these IP addresses are visiting these websites and how long they're resting on the page. And what page they went to. So, for instance, he said on Thanksgiving, they look at it 15 times for 38 minutes. On Christmas, they look at it for 16 times for 48 minutes. And on Iva's birthday, they look at it 18 times for 43 minutes. And they're getting hits from Curacao and Barbados. And so David's theory is either one, people involved are curious and want to know how close they are to being caught, or it's Amy looking at it. So then they start putting up sentimental photos on the website of like her car and her dog.
Oh my God, the car part.
Yeah.
Her family is keeping the car that she had, which is this zippy little red convertible.
Yeah.
They're keeping her car perfect.
Yeah.
And like her dad is keeping it waxed and keeping it running, and it's sitting in the garage ready for her. If she comes back, that car, she could drive it as soon as she gets home.
I always wanted one of those Miatas when I was in high school. I wanted my parents to buy me one of those.
How much is a Miata?
I don't know. It's got to be like $10 now. I don't know.
I mean, it's a hot, sexy little thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're keeping this car for her. And so, yeah. And then they start posting the pictures of her dog, who's definitely dead by now. Right?
Probably.
It's a bulldog.
I know.
They've been, especially in like the early 2000s, they were so inbred.
Yeah.
It was not good for them. Yeah. And their flat faces, he couldn't breathe.
Yeah.
So that dog's dead, but they're still posting pictures just to like see what they can get. I agree with David. It rings true for me.
Yeah. So the producers then ask David if she has access to a phone or a computer, why doesn't she just email or call home? Mm-hmm. He says, well, if they're threatening her family, then she's worried that if she does that, then they would kill her family. So that's why she's not contacting her family. So we hear more from Judy about more of what happened in the restroom, because Judy apparently didn't tell us the whole story, or they didn't show the whole conversation.
They edited this very specifically for the documentary. Yeah.
Right. So Judy said that she overheard the woman say, "Can we stop and see the children?" And the man said, "Yeah, are you going to cooperate and not leave?" And she said, "Yes." So Judy says, she doesn't know whose children they were going to go see. But this woman was very excited to go see these children. And so they all remark, maybe Amy has kids by now because it's been so long. Oh my God. And then we go back to Iva. Jesus Christ. If somebody has mentioned to Iva that maybe Amy has kids, what? I mean, and Iva's like, if, there's grandkids out there that I, don't know about, I'd be happy. I mean, that is just nailing the coffin shut for Iva to talk about grandkids. Like, this poor woman. Yeah. So devastating. So anyway, yeah. But we go back to Molly, and then they talk about, like we just said, that, right, everything is good. The message worked. Molly calls Amy. They get back together. And, it was 2 days before she left on the cruise. They were together. So Molly's like, no, she wouldn't have committed suicide because we were together. We were planning on living our life together. Before she left on the cruise, she was really excited to go on the cruise. There was no reason why she would have wanted to kill herself. We had plans for Easter after the cruise. So, yeah. And then Molly said she received a postcard from Amy after she heard that Amy was missing. I mean, to get that in the mail, oh my God, it's so just awful. Like, I can't even imagine to have that show up in the mail after someone is disappeared or gone, to have that. Anyway, we see Iva say, today is the 9,758th day We're trying to get Amy back. This woman is counting days. I mean, like I said, I would move to wherever foreign country. I would probably be counting days. She is just so sad. The level of sadness on this woman is palpable, you know. And she says every morning they say, well, maybe today. And then when they go to bed, they say, well, maybe tomorrow. And you're just like, I can't take it.
It's
Watching
awful.
her is so difficult and so hard.
They have the conversation with the friends
Yeah.
about this hope. They'll talk
Yeah.
to the mom, and the mom will say, well, when she comes home,
Yeah.
it's not if, it's when she comes home.
Yeah.
And this hope that, like, this undying love and belief that her daughter is alive.
Yeah.
But it's a double-edged sword because there's no closure.
Yeah.
Iva is never going to be able to move on.
No.
And no one has any real substance of, like, where do they look next? I feel like I read it more as, it felt like kind of a red herring to me, because there is, like, that internal family strife, even in this very close-knit, intense family. I'm going to go with what the documentary is pushing, which is what I do every time. I want to believe that she's alive and that she had children, and maybe there's a chance she'll be able to, I mean, she's older now. Maybe there's going to be a chance that she'll be able to escape from this, be okay with her children one day, and her mom will find her and have grandkids, and they'll all live in Chesterfield, Virginia together. It's just, there's no version of what happened to her that isn't awful.
Oh, correct.
Which is just,
correct.
It's so sad. It's so sad. And it's one of those things, again, where you look at this thing, we don't know what happened. And in these other documentaries that we've gone over for this, we know what happened.
Yes.
In this one, we have no idea. And the amount of lives that this has affected forever.
Yes.
It's such a horrific tragedy.
Yeah. I know. They just go over, at the very end, right, Alistair Douglas took a polygraph. The FBI, did not charge him. They had no evidence to charge him. And then they say in 1999, the Bradleys filed a lawsuit against the Royal Caribbean.
Yeah.
The Royal Caribbean stated that they acted appropriately and responsibly at all times, and ultimately the lawsuit was dismissed. So, I mean, like I said, I can see, like you said in the beginning, I can see both ways about wanting the ship to not dock, and then also wanting everybody else to be able to have their vacation. I don't know how to feel.
I would say knowing that she went missing.
Yeah.
Right? Like, knowing that wasn't a frivolous, we can't find her.
Yeah.
Hindsight's 2020. They should have stopped everything.
Yeah.
But if she did go overboard, if something happened between her and her dad and she did go overboard, then it wouldn't have helped anything.
Yeah. True.
So, but we don't know. We don't know at all. And where I land at the end of it is, I don't think that my vacation, no matter how much money we spent, is more important than someone's life.
Yeah.
And if there's a good chance that we could find somebody, because the difference between, like, I missed my dolphin encounter and their daughter is gone forever, I think if you don't weigh those and go, even 2,400 dolphin encounters or their daughter, I think you go their daughter.
Yeah, right.
It is just where that's where I would go. But there's enough people that it's like, they're going to email,
I agree.
They're going to leave a bad review.
I agree.
I don't know. But yeah, I don't think I'll be going on a cruise.
Me either.
Plus I get really motion sick. Matt hasn't driven
Me too.
the van
Yeah.
in 10 years.
I get motion sickness too. Even though that thing is gigantic, I believe I could feel it. I could feel it, so I don't think I'm going to go. But this is a wonderful documentary. But
it is interesting. I'm curious. Now I'm going to go watch the Hulu one. And I'm curious when we post this, who's going to have different theories about it and what they think.
Yeah. Like I said, Steve differed from what I thought. You differ also, and I love all of that. I love it.
I mean, and the more time passes, maybe we'll get more information.
Yeah.
It is interesting to do one of these that doesn't have a clear what happened. Mm-hmm. And maybe the fact that more people are watching it, more people are... Technology gets better and better. Who knows what we might find out. And also, I wonder, does this mean there's more security cameras in those boats now? Like, are they tracking these locks better now?
Well, yeah. Or I thought about their staterooms. Do they have the key cards? Can they see in and out now? I don't know about that either. Because they said in 1998 you could only see going in. So,
yeah.
I don't know.
I mean... Is it worth investing that much money?
Yeah.
What's more expensive, hiring the lawyers to get that case thrown out or putting in better security?
Yeah.
Probably the lawyers are cheaper, wouldn't they be?
Oh my gosh, yeah. It's great. Everybody go watch it.
Everyone go watch it. Tell us what you think.
Yep.
What happened to Amy. I hope they find her one day.
Especially for Iva. Just so Iva can stop crying.
For Iva. Oh, Iva. Next week, we are going to do parts 2 and 3, which is the last part.
Yep.
I know there's only 3 parts of the reunion the Valley.
Aye.
You haven't seen it yet for part 2. I have seen part 2.
Messy.
And it's so good that we are going to be doing 2 all at once because, like I said, I can't drag it out anymore. Also on Bravo, did you see the last Culturas Award? I'm saying it wrong.
Oh, I've only seen bits and pieces. I'm excited.
I'm gonna watch the whole thing.
Okay.
The pieces that I've seen are fucking hilarious.
Okay. Yes.
And I love every single person that I've seen.
Yes.
And I especially love Lisa Rinna.
Yes.
Lisa Rinna is so down to do anything, and I love her for it.
Mm-hmm.
I love her for it.
Me too.
And is she going to be on Traitors?
Oh God,
the next season?
Know.
Or was that just? I think it might just be a rumor. I think it's wishful thinking. But they did come out with the other show that I'm excited about. They did come out with the reality TV / minor celebrity list for
Special Forces.
Okay, so the cast for Special Forces is out.
Forces season 4.
Special Forces.
Season.
And it looks good. Like, there's some people on it I'm excited to see.
Cody Brown. Yes.
I know. I want to see him cry.
I do too.
I want to see a woman emasculate him in this so badly. I really want to see bad things happen to him. I'm so excited to watch him get dropped out of a plane. I'm so excited to have him walk around in cold water. I'm so excited for his feet to get blisters. Like, I just want all of the bad things for him.
I want them to just scream and yell at his face.
Yeah, because he's not going to be able to handle any of that.
Oh my God, no.
Teresa Giudice, I think, will actually do super well.
Oh, she's going to do great. Sean Johnson, she's going to do great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I can't remember anyone else off the top of my head. Is Teresa Giudice's daughter?
Yes.
Is she?
Yep.
The mother-daughter duo, I think, is bizarre, and I think her daughter's going to do terrible.
Her daughter's going to be terrible. Yeah. Brittany!
Although I do like her. That's what it is. That's what I wanted to say.
Brittany.
I'm so excited for Brittany. Brittany is going to do awful.
Oh, she's going to do awful.
She's going to do so bad. Oh, Brittany's going to be out so fast. I think she's going to be out faster than Tara Reid.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But...
Oh.
Get that bag, girl.
Yeah.
Go for it, Brittany. I want her to be on every show. I'm mad at Brittany in the Valley, but I also, big picture, I want her making all of the money. You know?
Yeah.
Like, I want good things for her. I just want her to stop being Janet's friend on the Valley.
Ugh, I know.
And I will say it again. We said it last episode. They really should have a Zach cam. They gave us a little bit. I'm excited for you to see episode 2. We get more Zach. Just spoiler alert, what they do is there's a lot of Zach constantly making side little shitty comments that are whispered to Jasmine. And they just put the volume up for us on full. So like as the big fights are happening, you hear his little asides of him being shitty, but you hear it at full blast.
Oh, good.
So we at least get that.
Okay, good.
So thank you, Bravo.
Thank you.
And on that note, now you guys know what to look forward to
Yay.
Next week. And thank you for listening.
Thank you.
And let us know where you think Amy is.
And I love you.
I love you. Thank you for doing the podcast with me. And thank everyone else for listening.
Yep.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
True crime story time. Whispers in the dark. Truth leaves a mark.